Welcome everybody to the Uneducation Station. Did we even do an intro last time? I'm not really sure.
I have no idea.
Well, it was the Demon Slayer episode, so I think we did. It's been a while, although it's only been a week. It's been a while. For us, it's been a week.
It's so funny. Whenever I look back at some of the older episodes, there was like a streak where it was just like, wow, it's been a while. And that was also when we had like a 10 episode backlog. So it was like,
it's been a while, but not for them.
It's the same duration of time that it's always been, Arthur. I don't think we have any excuses this time.
Okay. Has it? Wait, was it really been only a week since the Demons? Did we miss last week?
No.
I swear it's been longer than a week since we watched Demon Slayer.
Well, it's been longer than a week since we watched Demon Slayer.
Well, yeah, but the Demon Slayer episode. Okay, maybe. I don't know. I'm just crazy. I don't know. I subbed my toothpick. I'm sorry. My bad. So I think we're going to talk about, what do we want to talk about today?
Well, I know that. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna start with the update to the set, a temporary update to the set. So Arthur decided to get me my first anime figure.
Yes,
which is just a cooler version of this one, but it's real.
It's real.
And it's like
it's here.
It's okay. For those of you who don't know, like okay, wait, nobody would know this, but Arthur and I were talking like right before the shoot, and I was like, yeah, your timing is impeccable because I started researching anime figures and like all of that kind of stuff.
Because I turned him into a weeb because of Demon Slayer.
It wasn't just because of Demon Slayer. I think Demon Slayer was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
It was the topper, yes.
But yeah, so I haven't even taken this out of the box yet, and I think I'm going to wait till I get home. But
cute.
It's cute, dude. I don't know where the hell I'm going to put it. I'm going to find a place for it, but
awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Arthur.
Yes,
again.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, by the way, sorry, I just noticed it now. One of your buddies for your shock mount, one of your bands are not in the clip.
Oh.
Sorry. Not that it matters that much, but go ahead. Yeah. All right. There we go. All right, cool. Anyways. Yes. Got you a figure because you're now a weeb. You need to join the weeb club. You need something that insinuates that you are cool. I guess. I don't know. But no, it's funny. Most of my figures are, they're kind of
sus.
They're kind of sus, But no, I just get them from eBay, and sometimes if you get it for eBay or resale or whatever, they're Chinese knockoffs versions or whatever. But then I do have some real ones like this Rem one and this Mikan one, and then. Well, actually, all the ones on the table right now are real ones, so that's good. That's good.
Hell yeah!
Can't say they're the same for the rest of them.
Hey, you know what? What they can't see can't hurt them, Arthur.
You're right. I mean, here's the thing, right? If you're a collector of some sort, I can get why you care. For me, I wouldn't call myself a collector, but the reason why I get a figure, and I know it's kind of a little cringe, and it's like otaku culture type thing, like nerdy, super nerdy culture type thing to get figures and Nendoroids and if you're a loser, Funko Pops. I'm calling them out. If you get a Funko Pop, you're a loser. Get a Nendoroid instead; they're better. Anyways, you see like the memes, right, of like otaku rooms, they're just figures lined up or whatever, and like fucking what is this? Look at this guy, whatever, bro. Probably hasn't touched grass in like 50 years, like what is this guy doing? But I think I talked about it before, maybe in an earlier episode, but like figures for me, they're kind of like, how do I explain it? When you watch a certain show and you feel a certain way about it, or you really love a character about it, when you finish the show or the manga, like what do you have left,
Right.
You have the merchandise, you have whatever, because if a show leaves that strong of an impression on you, you want something from it, right? Right. Same thing goes for like an artist or something, or whether that be music or even for an actual artist. Yeah. I bought recently. You might have seen it. I think it was last episode we busted it out. But I have a poster behind me. It changed. I had a Watson poster, but now I have a Yucam poster, and it came with this Watson poster card from Hitsu, which is an artist that I follow. Shout out to Hitsu. And something about. I mean, I don't need to really explain it. Everybody gets it, like buying the jersey from your favorite NBA or your favorite sports team,
Right.
That kind of idea.
Yeah, and I mean, there are definitely plenty of different ways that you can kind of go about getting merchandise for certain series, for certain shows, whatever it may be. And this just so happens to be a popular kind of avenue of merchandise for people who like to watch anime and all of that kind of stuff. And like, it feels like to me, you just kind of cracked the seal. And like, I was kind of on the fence about it for such a long time. And now you've like, now I have one.
I'm so sorry. You're going to waste all your money because they get pretty expensive. My advice is not to go for the expensive ones. And unfortunately, with the animes that we watch, a lot of them are going to be expensive because the price depends on the quality of the figure and, of course, the character. Right. And this popularity, and their popularity. Although I think some of them should be okay. Like this one wasn't that bad, Shuvi, and she's from the No Game No Life movie. I can't say the same for Shiro, who's the actual main girl. But, not too bad. You just gotta look around, make sure you don't buy any jank stuff. I mean, you can if you want, as long as you are safe and you make sure. Although, it's very interesting because a lot of people are like, don't buy the eBay stuff or the reseller. I mean, obviously, if they're like trying to rip you off, then obviously don't. But some of them, on eBay especially, at least in my experience, I can't say, your mileage may vary, but I've been fine. And obviously I noticed there's some things off about them, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm not looking too closely at them. And I mean, they're the characters, that I want in the pose or in the clothes that I want. So, There you go. And it's there. And that's all I'm looking for personally, as someone who isn't a diehard collector.
Right. Yeah, and I can definitely see the kind of counter argument to buying things that are kind of not necessarily knockoffs, but like not made by the company who made the show or the anime, like whatever.
Well, also is because it's also limited runs.
Right.
How they do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if I wanted this is one, I don't think this one's a limited run. If I wanted this and this one's done for, what do I do?
Right.
But I want this one.
Yeah.
So I can either buy the original version for a shit ton of money, or I get a knockoff that's close enough.
Why is she staring at me now?
Oh, is she? Well, good for you.
Staring longingly into my eyes. Yeah,
good.
And I mean, there are certain situations where you kind of have to play the moral game of like, if they don't sell them anymore and you have to get them from a third party, like people who make them that weren't a part of it, like that's totally fine.
But I think if you own up to it, if you say, I know this is a knockoff.
Yeah. That's fine. And if you know that it's a knockoff and you're just getting it because they don't sell them anymore, or the only ones that you can find are costing way too much money, like that's an entirely different situation. But like oh my gosh, I watched a video by the Anime Man about figures and stuff, and oh my gosh, it was so funny. He found like the derpiest figures I've ever seen in my entire life.
They get pretty bad when you're buying third party. Yeah, some of them they get pretty. You have to look out for it. I remember I was gonna buy a Kairi one. Bro, they were so bad. They're like repainted and like it's like they get like, I don't know how they get the models. They maybe make the models and then 3D print it and then paint it. It's so bad.
Bro, it's so funny.
It's so funny.
Because he bought one of the Kaori.
Oh, he did?
Figures, yeah. And it was so funny. First thing, when he was talking about it, he's like, oh yeah, this isn't from like a mainstream anime. Like this is from a little bit more of like a lesser known anime. And he was like, Your Lie in April. And I was like, because
he called it not mainstream. I mean, it's not mainstream. He called it lesser known.
Well, I mean, when you talk about like power shonens,
I know,
like all of that kind of stuff, it is a little bit lesser known.
I wouldn't say it's not in the same area. I'd say it's not mainstream, but it's in the realm of like, if like, I don't know, if you're the casual watcher, the Demon Slayer, you may have watched Your Lie in April, especially if you're a girl. I've come to realize this. Because every time I've spoken with a friend who's a girl, I'm like, you watch anime? And like, yeah. Like, I'm like, they're like, well, what you watch? I recently watched Your Lie in April. I'm like, what? You did?
You're like, why? and it's not why for like a bad reason. It's just like it's one of those animes where it's just like, well, if you're in like the right mindset, it's really fucking sad.
It's also like really oddly paced than other normal mainstream anime, and it's also about classical music, and I'm like, Really? They just like this is the drama. It's just the drama, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the drama does help.
Yeah, the drama definitely does help. And also, oh my gosh, dude. It's so funny talking to people about anime just for the sheer fact that, like, I know just enough to at least kind of know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And so when I'm talking to people who are like, oh, I want to get into anime, I just haven't really found that show that'll reel me in. And I'm like, well, I have 4 shows.
Well, I have a flow chart. Let me show it to you real quick.
Yeah, the Google Doc, the Excel sheet.
Excel sheet.
Yeah.
The enterprise server grade databases.
The pen and paper.
Windows command prompt, you know.
Bro, we need to keep that thing hidden in a vault, even though it's not even a real like flowchart. It's just a list of like 4 shows.
It's a list. I don't even have it written down anywhere. It's not in any notes at all.
You know, it's really cool because as much as we joke about the flowchart and like what?
We've been typing. I cancel it. We just you can't even see it in the thing. That's funny.
That's awesome. Yeah, as much as we sit there and crack jokes about the flowchart and all that kind of stuff, it's like I think that the way that you went about finding different animes and all those types of things, you went about it kind of opposite from what a lot of people would think. You would think that you would go with the mainstream, most popular, you know, like the Demon Slayers, the you know, the One Punch Mans and all of that kind of stuff.
The Narutos and the Dragon Balls.
The Dragon Balls.
And the One Piece. But no, I guess that's true. That's fair. But then again, like that's why, and then going back to it, right? That's why you get figures of these type of things, because you really enjoy the show. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. Like you really enjoy the show. You might get emotionally attached to a character. And you're like, I really enjoyed this character. I love, first of all, she's super cute or whatever, or even in a further term, I like the way she was written, and she was written so well, she was acted so well that I felt an attachment, and I just want something to remember this show for, so I picked this character.
Right. Yeah, and there's so many varying degrees of that too. Like there are so many different layers to it. Like for me, I'm not a casual anime watcher because I get very emotionally invested and you've literally watched it happen.
It's odd because I wouldn't call you a weeb. I mean, I've been saying that as a joke, but I would not call you that yet. But I also would not call you a casual watcher. But it's kind of weird because you've only seen like 5 shows. So you're not a casual you are in that sense because you watch other things as well and also anime.
Yeah.
But you've only seen 5 shows. Since you've only seen 5 shows, that can pertain to you. But you also read and care more about that type of stuff than the casual watcher.
Yeah.
So you're in a weird gray area of like, are you a weeb? Are you not a weeb? I don't know. But you have a figure now.
I'm an enigma.
You have a figure now. So now you are a weeb.
Yeah.
No non-weeb just has a figure.
Well, I think my favorite part about this is that it's one of those things that like my friends, like my normie friends who don't watch anime or anything like that.
Yes, those the normies.
Yeah, those friends would be like, what the fuck? And then there would be people like you where you're like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you bought it for me. So I mean, you know, it makes sense. And like if you listen to like the episodes of the podcast that we've talked about anime, it completely 100% makes sense.
Yeah.
Why this would be on my shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And especially the No Game No Life movie and the show. Like, I think...
Yeah, definitely needed Shuvi. I wanted... Of course I wanted to get Shiro, but that's not happening.
Yeah, I know.
So I got Shuvi. But still great. I love Shuvi. Honestly, I like her probably better than Shiro, but that's me.
You're not the only one, don't.
But yeah, I had to think of something. Couldn't get Kairi. Couldn't get Shiro. I don't think there's any erased ones. I was like, all right,
more at least.
I don't think there ever really was. Maybe an Android, maybe. I was like, all right, let's go over this, and I got you this, and it was supposed to be for your birthday in May.
And it's September.
Okay,
but even like all jokes aside, you know, I
think I ordered it in like May and it was gonna be a late birthday present. But then I was like, oh shit, it's probably gonna take a while, isn't it? And then it took a while.
It took a while. But even like all jokes aside and all that kind of stuff, you know, I still wasn't expecting you to get me anything for my birthday or anything like that because like, you know, the fact that I get to hang out with you all the time is a good enough present for me, you know, and like I'm on a show that you started.
Yeah.
And I was the only one who you thought of to be co-host person.
Yeah, man.
And so it's like, you know, that like presents and all of that kind of stuff have never really been something that I've put a lot of significance on, I guess. But that's super cool. Like I was expecting something a little bit different.
Well, I made the excuse of giving you G Fuel, which is a great present, by the way. Use code North. That was good too. By the way, I got some more. It's coming.
Hell yeah.
We'll be back to G Fuel. Let's go. And then I was like, all right, this will work because I mean, I know you liked the last time I bought G Fuel, so I was like, okay, this works out. Yeah. You know, and I'll get 2 cups, so it'll work out. Yeah. And then the figure will come at some point.
Yeah, so the G Fuel was just kind of like a backup plan.
I guess so, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm really bad with presents, like absurdly bad. I don't know what to get anything. Like I usually, like I'm the type of person to give you money, but at a certain point, I don't know if this is because I'm older. Boomer talk. But you know.
Boomer talk.
The older I get, classic. The older I get, the more I start. I think we talked about this before. We might have. I don't know. It might have been in the scrapped episode. But the more, rap God, holy shit. The more older I get, the more I start to appreciate presents that aren't money. Because as someone who, I think not as the older I got. I think as soon as I got a job. As soon as I got a job, I started to think, okay, if I gave my friend $20, good shit, and he gives me $20 back in my birthday, what did we just do? What happened?
Nothing.
Literally nothing just happened. Nothing happened. Like that, you gave it back. I was like, oh, okay. But when there's a present, 1, it's more personal. 2, it's not something you can just you could regift it if you need to, but even if you regift it, it's better than regifting $20 to someone else. So I give them $20. They give someone else $20 for someone else's birthday. You know, it's like, what are we doing? For a kid, I think it's cool because they're not making any money, you know, and that's basically like Christmas money, birthday money. That's if they don't have an allowance, that's the only way they get money. That's the only way I got money.
Right.
So that's fine. When you're getting,
and you spent it on anime.
And I spent it on anime. Yeah. I have more coming too. I told myself told myself I wouldn't. I told myself this would be the last figure I bought because I have a rule. Okay, I forgot I was going to tell you something. If you're getting into the anime figure market, I have one suggestion is not to look at the above $100 range because 1, they are too tempting. 2, they are expensive. Notice how too tempting was before expensive because your brain, your impulse will go for that first.
Right. Yeah.
And they are good figures, but you have to dumb it down. You have to go back to ground level. Now I did that, but I only have one. This is the only one that's over $100. I was like, you know what? It's my birthday. Let's have a go. Bought this and I bought that one as well because they're from the same shows. I don't think I'll ever show you Tuleveru because it's kind of, you know, but it's top 2. I love Tuleveru, but I don't know. You know what? If you ever want to watch it, sure, you watch it by yourself with your door locked. That's all I'm going to give you. And top 2 of all time for me. And I was like, okay, that's it. I probably won't spend more. Like I would not, even before that, I spent this one. I'm not going to spend more than $50 because Nendoroids cost $50. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to break $50. If it's a really good figure, maybe 60-ish, you know, I'll justify it. But that was my rule. And then now I decided to get a figure from Genshin, a game I play, which was only just a little over 100, which is not. It sounds bad, but it's not bad. Not that considering what type of figure it was. Like it's really good. It's a really nice figure. But I bought it because for the culture, Zach. For the culture, I'm gonna look it up. But it's. I got it because I am the #1 stan for this figure. Because this figure is Mona. Yes, y'all know. Y'all get me. Y'all get me. I love her for various reasons, but I got her figure because for the culture, I needed to.
Right.
I have to represent. And that's why, and like I'm saying, because I have this attachment to this figure and to the game that I've been playing mostly because, I love Genshin. I really love Genshin a lot. And it's a game that, while I have not been playing many games recently, it's a game that finally got me to play video games again. So I have a lot of respect for it. I'm very grateful for it. And it's free, and you don't have to spend money if you don't want to. And I love that about games. I think I may have mentioned it before, but if a game if there are microtransactions, there's microtransactions, whatever. We're in the age of microtransactions. This is what happens. Whatever.
Thanks, EA.
No, not even EA, because EA, you have to buy things to do things. For games like gacha games, for example, like Genshin or other Japanese gacha games I play, you don't have to pay money if you don't want to. You can 100% free to play it. You can spend money if you want. That's how you should do microtransactions and paying for things. DLC for extra, that's fine. If you have to pay there was a game, I don't know very many, because like I just mentioned, I don't play a lot of games, but I know there are games, and there was a game that my friend brought up. It might have been a Final Fantasy game. I don't know. I don't know if saying that just upset a huge crowd, but I'm pretty sure there was a game, I don't know if it's Final Fantasy or not, I cannot remember, where you like literally could not advance unless you paid.
Yeah, and those are the types of games that are I don't want to say that they're a cash grab, but they're kind of a cash grab.
They are a cash grab.
It's like they are monopolizing on the fact that you want to complete the game, and it's just like, oh, you must have such and such tokens to open this door. Mm-hmm. And the way to do it for free would literally take you like a month.
That was about next thing I'm about to say. Along with, maybe you can free to play it, but you have to like they scale it so like if you don't pay, you're gonna be sitting there forever or something like that, right?
Right.
You shouldn't do that. That's stupid. That's terrible game design.
It's dog shit. Kind of circling back though. Because we kind of went on a weird. So going back to like presents.
Oh, my
phone
stuff. Went off. Oh, bad streamer. Oh,
bad streamer. Even though we're not streaming. It's okay. Kind of circling back to like presents and giving gifts and all of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That is how a lot of people started playing games.
Yeah.
And I think the really interesting thing is that for a lot of kids or a lot of people who started gaming kind of around the same time that we did, at least in our lives, mm-hmm. It was what our parents got us for Christmas or for our birthdays and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because our parents didn't just give us phones or smartphones and iPads when we were young,
Yeah.
But even to that extent, like, and I'm not even saying like I'm not even trying to boomer talk. I'm just saying, I mean, this is kind of how it was. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because we're in the age of technology. Of course, kids are going to have tablets and stuff now. If anything, they need to, because they need to be introduced into technology as soon as possible. Otherwise, they're just going to fall behind.
Right.
And I'm surprised at how technologically, I mean, how good kids are at not toddlers, but like 4, 5, 6-year-olds are at using these devices.
Yeah,
it's cool, and they need to. But then again, because these are the tablets and stuff. App Store games are free usually, or there's a lot of free games. We didn't have free games. If we have free games, we're going on like coolmathkids.com or whatever on the computer, and those type of games, Flash games, Y8 games, those type of things, Otherwise, we had to get gifts from our parents or whatever to get the new Pokemon, hopefully, that type of stuff. We couldn't just, because it costed money. Yeah. And we didn't have money, as we were saying, the whole money thing, So yeah. Getting gifts was definitely the way that we, in our age group, were introduced to gaming and stuff, and finding new games, because our parents gave us the new games and new interests to find, and then we got into it and like, hey, the next game is coming up, and they're like, I don't know what that means. Well, sure, Dad. You have Stray Days? Yeah, I have Stray Days. All right, cool. Here you go. Whatever.
Yeah, and it's really interesting as you get older. You kind of the types of gifts that you want to give and receive become entirely different, and like. It's really funny because in my friend group, we all just kind of give each other gifts that are just memes. Like I think last Christmas my brother got me a coloring book of cat butts.
That's great. I love that. That's great.
You know, it's just like, it's not, it's hard to explain, but like, it's not necessarily 100% about like what it is. It's just kind of like, you know, it could be an inside joke. It could be just like a whole bunch of different stuff just to kind of make it fun, make it goofy. And obviously, you know, there are going to be those presents that you get from people who are just...
Oh, God, honey. Hey, this video was sponsored by Honey. Look at those fucking cheeks, bro. Sorry.
Jesus.
Continue.
Cheeked up on a Sunday afternoon.
Sorry to interrupt you. I just saw this picture on the corner of my screen.
I'm just going to close that real quick. Okay, cool.
No!
So... Yeah, you know, the exchange of gifts can mean a whole lot of different things to different people. Did you just...
Yeah, I did. No, I just want Google back. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So basically, it's become a lot less about...
okay, at least keep images up. The fuck? Okay, go ahead.
It's become a lot less about the content of whatever you're getting. It's just kind of who it's from and all of those types of things. And so something like this... You know, it means something a little bit different, especially coming from you because you're like the anime Sherpa and you're like, ha, here's a new expensive hobby.
Well, what if so let's say this, I don't even remember what the price, let's say this was like $50.
Right.
What if I just gave you $50? That would mean nothing.
Yeah.
You give it to the next person's birthday.
Yeah.
or you give it back to me in a year, you know?
Right.
If I give you something like this means something. There's a story. We talked about, like, tattoos. I mean, that's not a gift, but you know, like I was just that general idea. There needs to be a story, you know, something that means a lot, and that's why it's hard for me to give gifts now because I don't want to just give money or scratch cards, which is what we do in our family. Although they like scratch cards in my family because gamblers, literally at the casino as we speak. I just came back because we ate lunch or brunch there because we got invited from some family, and I came back there, and they are still there. My family, they're a bunch of gamblers, so you know.
It's 2:30 in the afternoon.
2:30 in the afternoon, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know when they're coming back. They'll be back at some point.
Eventually. Yeah, and that's when you kind of start to realize, like, yeah, you know, it's not always about the price tag of something. It's not always about, like, how much something is worth.
I mean, I gave my cousin a computer for his birthday.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really concerned about because I was just like, I'm gonna get him into PC gaming, and I don't know. I mean, obviously, it was still in the grand scheme of things when you put it on paper. Yeah, it's an expensive present, but I wasn't worried about that because it was just a present I thought of. I was like, that's a great idea. Let's go for it.
Yeah,
you know.
And also another thing too is that you know you were able to make some content out of it as well.
Yes, of course, and it was great.
Yeah, and you know, being a part of that kind of stuff is also a lot of fun too, and. You know, that I think it's really cool when you're able to take something that you're really passionate about and like a really cool hobby and turn it into something that you can give as a gift. And like, for example, for me, I ended up giving my mom a canvas print of one of the pictures I took of one of her horses. And I also got another canvas of Multnomah Falls and like all of that kind of stuff. And so it's like when you can take something that you enjoy doing that might not be that expensive and it has that kind of sentimental value to it. That's kind of what makes it really, really cool and really special. And even just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think even if it's like something off the shelf, I think if it has some story, some sort of personality, something to say, if you got this present, you'd be, oh yeah, this person got it for me.
Yeah.
This is, like, instead of like, let's say I got you a book. I don't know. If I got you a book, you should be able to say, if like maybe someone comes over, hey, that's a cool book, or you read this book, like, yeah, Arthur got it for me. You should be able to say that. You shouldn't be able to say, that's a cool book. Yeah, that's a cool book. Or yeah, this is my book. I mean, it is your book, but you should be able to recognize who got you the gift.
Yeah.
Right?
Or even in a similar vein as well, it's just like, oh, dude, there's such a funny story behind this. Like, you know, I guess using a book as an example, like, I was sitting there joking around with Arthur that I wanted to start reading manga and all this kind of stuff, and then he bought me an entire manga series, and so now here I am.
I didn't do that yet,
No.
but you know,
yet. But that's just an example. But that's a really good way to just kind of explain, like, it may just be a book, or it may just be a figure, or it may just be, you know, a picture, or it may just be like, you know, whatever it may be. But if there's any type of sentiment behind it, any type of story behind it, any type of like character, like, that is such a Zach thing to buy for one of his friends.
Yeah.
And like that, I've accidentally become a little bit of a memester when it comes to some of the gifts that I give.
Yeah.
And it's not because like I don't want to get them something that they enjoy, because like a lot of the times I'll get them something stupid and something that they enjoy. Of course, when I'm not broke, but
we have a job now, so
yeah,
hopefully that changes.
Yeah, and Christmas is going to be a lot of fun, I think. But you know, it's like it's really cool when you're able to give something that has its own character behind it and has its own story behind it. And like, you know, it's the same way with tattoos and like all of that kind of stuff as well. Like, I think the story behind this tattoo is in and of itself is worth me having it.
Yeah.
And you know, the fact that I got it with two of my best friends, and you know, one of these days I'll get you to join the tattoo cult, but it's fine. But like, joking aside and everything, you know, the fact that this was something that we kind of planned out for a while, and you know, we finally got it to happen, and you know, it's here. It's gonna be here for probably the next 60 years, but you know, it's just one of those things that will remind me, like, yes, that one day when Jackson wanted an imposter round of Among Us with one hand on his phone while getting tattooed.
Yes.
That was such a funny story, but yeah, it's just the sentiment behind it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the most important things, is just
very important.
You know, the intent, the sentiment, the value outside of the price tag is what I think would be the most important. I don't know how we got here, but it's very wholesome and I enjoy it.
Yes, we're talking about anime figures, which you will start getting on. If you watch, I'm not going to condone, but they're fun. They're fun.
Arthur, I already know. I think I already know what I'm going to get you for Christmas.
Okay.
And it's gonna be kind of funny.
Okay. But yeah. Oh, speaking of anime, which is something we talk about in the show every now and then, I think. You started to listen to more not anime music, Japanese music, I guess, if you will, if I may say so, from anime.
Yes, I have.
And I only bring this up because I keep catching you listening to it. Like, you were, every now and then when we're in a call, like, I'll catch you just listening to the Bunny Girl Senpai ED song, or literally last night in the stream, you're listening to this Demon Slayer OST. I'm like, what? This fucking guy. And we were hanging out with Jackson that same day when we record the podcast. We were going to his house and stuff. And before you zipped off, you were playing grunge. And I'm like, this fucking guy, dude.
Dude, okay. My favorite part about watching anime is probably the thing that most average anime watchers pay the least attention to. And it's like,
I wouldn't say pay the least attention to, but as music nerds like us, we pay extra attention to, I think. And it's just because, like, for my reasoning, it's because it's just, and now you get it. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's very different. And because it's different, you're interested. And now you want to know more. And so it just ends up being what you listen to.
Yeah.
For me, I'm stuck and I don't leave. For you, I mean, you might throw it into your mix, or maybe at some point you just say, fuck it, let's just go. Recommended artists, let's go. Let's do it. Spotify song radio.
Yeah.
That's how, by the way, if you ever want to just have a time, you pick a J song and you go song radio and you have a time.
I think that's the coolest part, is that you can just fall down that rabbit hole. And
yeah.
We were talking about this during the Demon Slayer episode, and this is one of those things that I really, really loved about Demon Slayer, is that the way that it was orchestrated and arranged musically was just absolutely gorgeous. And the same thing with all of the shows that we watch, because the attention to detail that they put into pretty much every single frame of these shows is just absolutely amazing. And it's, it's something that it may not kind of catch the average viewer's eye, but when we sit down and talk about it and it just kind of starts replaying in my head more and more, it becomes more of like, wow, this entire show was one long arrangement.
Basically, yeah.
And that's basically almost all that Demon Slayer was.
And it throws in a bunch of snippets of everybody's different themes. And I loved that so much. I brought it up during the Demon Slayer episode, but I love that so much. Like when we were rewatching it, and I knew what Tenjo's theme was, and I knew what Nezuko's theme was. You didn't, of course, not yet.
Yeah.
But me watching it, and then we're just episodes going by, and then I hear even just like one or two measures of it. I'm like, oh my god, they threw it in there. That's so great. It's so funny. That's so awesome though. And like even like not even like when I mean like one or two measures, like it'll be like someone else's, like a whole completely different OST, and then it shows to some sort like maybe Nezuko at some point, and then like a single measure of it just pops into the OST for a little bit and then goes back. I'm like, whoa, they did it. They did the thing.
And then you'll hear the
yeah, the Tanjo's theme. And then it goes back to the OST. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they did it. I love that so much. And I mean, we already nerdgasmed about the music of the Demon Slayer. If you haven't checked it out, you watch the Demon Slayer. If you have not checked out the Demon Slayer episode, you probably should, because we tried a new format and it was a lot of fun. And we didn't Bunny Girl Senpai at this time, and we actually just talked about it instead of breaking down each episode and stuff like that.
yeah. And honestly, I think with a show like Bunny Girl Senpai, I think that was kind of
necessary. It was kind of necessary, because if you did not get any you needed context in order to understand. Or I don't know, maybe you're a quantum physicist. I don't know.
Yeah, but those I think that along with the conversation that you and I had, where you were like, I have never been able to sit down and talk to somebody about anime the way that you and I sit and talk. And I think that is the most fascinating thing in the world, just because we're able to sit and talk about like 30 seconds of a show for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And that is one of those things that just makes me want to keep watching and keep going through different shows with you and all of that kind of stuff, because it's so, I guess, stimulating to the brain, because we can sit here and think about something along a similar wavelength and like think about a scene in the show, or think about the music or anything like that. Like we can think about it in the same type of like analytical way, and that it just has some sort of magic to it,
Yeah,
it's super cool.
For me, I think, sorry, I keep playing with this wire cable. I think it just, oh god, it totally did. That's okay, it's all good. I think for me, the reason why our conversations are different, especially to one, like if you watch anime a lot or even talk with anime with me, when we talk about anime, both of us, or everybody talking, we've seen a lot of anime, and animes we've already seen. So the things that we talk about are more like our favorite characters and the cutest characters and stuff like that. Or shows that and we're pitching shows to each other because we've been in that space. You have not really. You've only watched 5 shows, I think. So I can't really just talk about a bunch of anime with you. I mean, we talk about 5 shows, but then, we talk about 5 shows and that's about it. So there are other things we need to talk about. And that what I find fascinating is that we can still talk about so many things that isn't just our favorite shows.
Right.
We can still talk about the music and the writing and all that type of stuff. So there's more to the conversation of talking about anime with a bud than just like who has the biggest tits and stuff, Right. There's more to it than just tits.
Yeah, and
small tits are great too.
All tits are great.
Flat is justice.
You made me lose my train of thought. There are so many things that you can talk about, even in one show, even in one episode, even in one scene, especially when you have the same type of creative mind that you and I have, because I'm a photographer, you are an editor, you do videos, you do all of those different types of things. And so you can look at a show, animated or live action or whatever it may be, and you can see different ways that it was edited or different ways that it was shot or, you know, all of those different types of things. And that can give you more of an appreciation for a show. And it's not just because the girl's got huge bungalow dongas and
that helps, but you know,
yeah, well, obviously it helps, but you know, there are so many different ways that you can appreciate a show, that you can kind of break it down to all of the amazing things that they did to create the show, and not necessarily exclusively the content of the show. It could be the animation, it could be the music, it could be, you know, the art style, all of those different types of things that can make a show great, along with a banging story and a killer soundtrack. And then you're just like, and those shows that check all of the boxes are the ones that I end up nerding out about the most. And that's why I absolutely love Demon Slayer. I love Your Lie in April. Yeah. I love No Game, No Life. And I love Erased, because they were all those shows that kind of checked those nitty gritty nerdy photographer boxes for me. So yeah, it's really, really cool when I'm able to vocalize that kind of stuff with you, because it's like, I'll sit there and talk to like Jackson about Demon Slayer, and he's like, that's cool. Nothing else. And then I'll sit and talk to you about the way that a certain scene was animated, and we'll sit and talk about it for an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love talking about that type of shit. For me, I see for someone like Jackson, for example, who doesn't watch anime. Right. Although as he explained in his episode, he's not against it, of course. He just doesn't have time. And that's fine. Of course. It's a good excuse. I really enjoy talking. I'm a type of person who loves knowledge. Right. Knowledge, you know? Knowledge. In my garage.
Here in my garage.
Knowledge.
And Lamborghini.
I just bought this knowledge. So I just love knowing new things. Right. And I like for example, coding. I mentioned I hate coding. I hate learning. I took classes for coding and dropped out of them. But when people talk about coding, I find it fascinating. My worst subjects in school is science and history. But they're so fascinating to learn about. Right. So basically what I'm trying to say is I love getting little common maybe not common, but just like more intricate knit bits of a little bit of everything. Right. I just love knowing a little bit of everything, knowing to do a little bit of everything, knowing just about a little bit of everything. Not to the extent that I would be an expert, but for example, I'm not an expert in cameras, but I know a little bit about cameras and I enjoy that. I'm not an expert about cooking. Actually, I'm not going to use cooking. I'm not good at cooking. I still find it fascinating though. I'm not an expert at science, but I think I think science and astrology and nature and stuff is really cool when one sits down and talk about it. I find those type of things very interesting. So for me personally, I think even if you start talking to me about something I just don't fucking know I don't even know what it is. Something random, I don't know. I would still sit down and try and converse and figure, and if anything, I would ask questions and learn more. I think that's how I would go about it. And I'm not saying Jackson has to be like that, but it's just different types of people. And frankly, when he watches Demon Slayer, he'll join the conversation and he'll be pogging with us, Yeah. And then Alec will watch it and he'll pog with us. Yeah. And then it'll be great. And then we'll get the music house and we'll all just pog simultaneously.
Pog. Yeah. And I think the funniest thing is I'm so much like my dad, where I just want to learn a lot of different things, no matter really what it is. And my dad is probably the biggest wealth of random knowledge in one human I've ever met in my entire life. As one dad might.
As one, my dad as well. He just knows way more than I feel like he should. But he has answers to like most things.
Yeah, no matter how obscure it is. Like I'll talk to my dad about a movie that came out in the 1960s and he's like, oh yeah, the actor who played this character was such and such. And I'm like,
oh yeah, the side role character in the very far off corner a mile away. The car that was in the background that drove by.
Exactly. Yeah, and he kind of instilled in me the idea that there is no such thing as learning too much information throughout your life. And
I think what it is that, sorry to cut you, but I think it's
fine.
just like that is true. You can never learn too much, but you can master too much.
Right.
I think. And that sounds odd, but I mean, there's basically an infinite amount of things you can do, which means there's an infinite amount of things you can master. You just can't be an expert at everything.
Right.
And that's fine. But you can enjoy it. You can like it.
Right. And you know, there's a saying, I don't remember, and I'm sorry if I say this wrong, but a jack of all trades is a master of none, but he's still better than a master of one.
Oh my God, that was great. I love that.
Yeah. And
I didn't think it was gonna rhyme. Caught me off guard there, Zach. I love that.
You know, and that is something that I have thought about for so long, because you look at all of the things that I do in my personal time that just have fucking absolutely nothing to do with each other. And, you know, you look at a lot of the things that you interest yourself in, and some of them are correlated to what you do, and a lot of them don't. And it's just kind of like, you know, that's fine. But that's a lot of that has to do with the fact that you and I are both people who strive to learn more about anything that we can get our hands on. Hence the reason why we'll sit here and talk about camera gear and stuff, and I'll explain some camera jargony stuff. And you know, you sat there for like an hour and tried to teach me how to use After Effects, and I was just like, this is fucking hard. You know, it's like we are able to have these types of conversations because both of us are eager to learn more about everything and anything. And both of us know way too much about like the most random shit. And it's great. And I love it. And like, I bought a little, like a touchpad thing with a...
You did.
With a pen.
You bought it.
And I started playing Osu.
You started playing Osu. God damn it. Fucking why? Why did you do it?
Because I wanted to see how it worked, Arthur.
You entered a terrible... You will no longer have extra time. You will now be clicking circles in your free time. And you will not stop until you get good PP. And you'll figure out what this all means. I haven't even played Osu yet. You know why, Zach?
Because it'll suck up all your time.
It'll suck up all my time. Because I know that it would do that to me. So that's the reason why I haven't done it. And you know what it did, Zach? I bought a tablet too, and the one that you got because you asked me for it. I got it because I said I was gonna play it on or I didn't say it, but I was gonna play it on a stream just for fun. Anuki plays also, ha ha ha, and then I know I'm gonna get sucked into it, inadvertently. I'm like, God damn, I'm gonna try not to because that would be really bad. You know how many times I've just been in a call with friends, editor friends or whatever, we're just doing work, paid work, and they're like, I'm gonna play Osu. And they just do that for the rest of the call? I'm like, oh, really? You didn't do anything today. Like, it's so... You should take breaks.
Right.
You should not neglect your work. So, that's the reason why I don't watch as much anime as I used to. It's the reason why I don't watch as much or read as much manga as I used to. Or even, manga is different because it's more tame in anime. Well, it can or it can't be. You can choose. And the manga I read usually, if I have a lot of things to do, I'm not going to read something that's going to emotionally invest me and make me not want to put my phone down, put the book down.
Right.
You know, the ones that I'm going to read are like slice of life, like boring, normal shit, you know, or you haven't watched any of these yet, but the classic, y'all know what I'm talking about. The classic dumb isekais, just of absolute no reason. Just a person dies, gets reincarnated into a fantasy world and just overpowered as shit.
Hell yeah.
And that's it. He's just overpowered and he gets a bunch of girls and it's great. They're so dumb, but I just read those because they're fun to read. That's all there is.
Right.
They're boring. They're not boring. They're fun. But they're turn your brain off and just ingest media, and then you just get back to what you're doing. Because if I sit and read something that's really good, I'm not putting it down.
Right.
If I don't put it down, I don't get anything done, and I have a lot of things to do throughout the week. So it's a little rough for me. So, but you started reading manga, maybe not started, but
So I did start reading Normie Slayer. I did start reading the Demon Slayer manga.
Kimetsu no Naomi. Kimetsu Yaiba. Kimetsu Miba.
Yeah. And I really enjoy it. And, you know, it's so cool because I was such a nerd about comic books when I was a kid. And this is like an adult version of comic books for me. And I'm just like, fuck yeah.
Wait, be careful when you say adult version, because there's some like, you know, some comic books do get pretty graphic and stuff. So you just upset the comic book crowd.
Okay. When I say like adult version, I mean something that I read of a similar comic book style as I've gotten older, because
Yes,
I haven't had access to comic books anymore, and it makes me sad.
What you're saying right now is like literally like comics for children, like reading the Pokemon comics and stuff, or what have you, back when you were a kid.
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
you're
yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
In comparison to reading Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah. That's the comparison that I'm trying to make, and I'm not trying to sit here trigger as many people as possible, because, you know, we want people to come back, Arthur. But the fact that I'm able to just kind of sit down, kind of turn my brain off a little bit, look at how beautifully done the anime was in reference to the manga and all of that kind of stuff, and learning more just sheerly based on the fact that you know, there were certain things that the anime left out. And the crazy thing is that,
so how far are you in the Demon Slayer manga?
I am 3 chapters in right now.
Okay, not too bad.
So like nothing really too crazy, but I just technically finished the first episode of the anime.
Yeah.
Like
A lot gets covered.
Yeah.
And a lot gets left out.
So much gets covered in just one episode. And I kind of forget that anime has that style of just hit the ground running, and just like so many things happen in the first couple episodes. And yeah, a lot of things happened, and it's really cool. And it's really cool to see how the dialogue may be similar or different, how the animation of the characters was different from the drawings in the manga, and just kind of all of that stuff as well. And yeah, it's very fascinating.
I mean, for me, like, I'm reading Oregaru, which is this book I have right here. This is volume 3. I'm reading 1. I leave it at work, the first volume, so I can just read it there. Because I'm trying to force myself to read it more. Because like I said, I'm trying to read more just in general. And obviously, if I'm going to read, it's got to be weeb content. Right. But first of all, so I got it like a while back now, and I hadn't really read it yet. Not because it was bad, but I don't know. It's just, you know, I've been reading manga and getting busy with stuff, you know. And the only time I really read manga nowadays is at work during my lunch breaks. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna leave this book, at work in my locker, and I'll read it during my lunch breaks. And that's when I read this book. And I'm about 5 or so chapters in now, about 70, 80 pages, give or take. And I've covered like 2 episodes of the anime.
Yeah. That is so fascinating, right? Though, because there's so much detail put into the manga. And I think that that's something that a lot of people don't really realize when they watch anime, and it's just like, oh yeah, it's based on a manga, it might be pretty similar. But just the sheer amount of exposition, narrative, character development, all of those different things that are just packed into the manga, I can understand why they leave so much out, because like you said, 3 chapters, 70 pages, 1 24-minute episode.
Maybe 5 chapters.
5 chapters. That's a lot of information, you know?
Yeah, well, 3 chapters is for like 1 episode. Yeah, 23-minute episode, and then another 3 or so for another episode, you know? And that's even more than that sometimes, you know? And it's like, shoot, man. You do man, I have this conversation with a friend of mine, and he was saying, like, you know, and this is true. A lot of people say, I don't really want to read the manga because I don't want it to ruin the anime for me. Mm-hmm. To which I say, no, I think reading manga in the novel, the source material, enhances the anime experience for me, because you get to know more that you wouldn't have if you just watched the anime. Mm-hmm. So maybe if you're reading the manga alongside the anime, or even get past the anime, you can be like, oh man, I can't wait to see how they adapt this chapter or what they do.
Okay. The coolest thing is that you and I were talking about how season 2 of Demon Slayer is coming out at some point in the near future.
I think literally this fall, I believe.
Yeah. Which, by the way, you and I are both going to be watching it as it comes out.
Yes, I think
so. Yeah, we're going to be a part of freaking Demon Slayer Twitter. I hope you know.
I have a Kanae or Hanae. I forgot her. Oh fuck, I forgot her name. Oh shit. I started to stand her a little bit towards the end of the episode, so I need to make sure I know her name. Hanae? Kanao. That's what it is. I have her as my AVI on Twitter. Which is
you totally do. That's actually hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah, and just I love the way that the characters were. Yes.
Her.
Yes.
I have her as my I love her. I have her as my Twitter AVI. I love that.
Wait, isn't the picture that here, hang on. Can I steal the mouse for
Sure.
quick? Isn't this picture?
No, that's not the one I have. That's a good one though.
No, I'm saying like, isn't that pretty similar to the one that you have?
It is similar. One more similar I have is this one because it was this scene. So yeah. Great. I ship her with Tenchu. Let's go.
Let's go.
Power Shonen? No, I'm a romance anime guy. I ship characters. I cannot wait until you watch a romance anime that is in Your Lie in April because that doesn't count.
One that's not sad.
You technically watch Bunny Girl Senpai. No, I want you to watch a harem. Because those are so fun. I don't know if we watch one together because they're too usually not terribly story driven. So I feel like we just watch them like, yeah, all right. But it's the reason why I want you to watch one. I know we're tangenting, but like, what's new? I just want to see, because after watching Bunny Girl Senpai, when we were watching, I was just so excited to see who your favorite girl would be. And you said Kairi. I'm like, let's fucking go. That's the correct answer. But when you watch like a harem, which is a bunch of girls, this time, in Bunny Girl Senpai, Mai was the girlfriend.
Right.
You can't just root for another girl. That's just not how that works. Because then that'd be bad. Oh, by the way, I sent you that video of the drama special edition drama CD of the translated version of the scene in the movie.
Yep.
When Sakata and Mai and Makinohara were catfighting.
Yep, and I watched it.
You watched it? Yeah, let's go. I haven't watched the whole thing. I just saw it pop in my sub box because I've been recently tangent number 50. I've been recently getting into seiyuu or voice actor culture again.
Hell yeah.
I was a little bit a while ago, which is why I recognize a lot of names. And then somehow it made its way back into my recommended. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll watch a couple of these videos again. It's been a while. And I got back into it. So now I'm back into seiyuu culture and it's great. I love it. I mean, it's fun. And like I explained before, if you don't know seiyuu, they're a Japanese voice or I don't know if it directly translates to voice actor, maybe more just the position, I guess. But they're more than that in Japan. They're like idols, actors, They play a lot, and they're a lot of fun to watch. And honestly, you can get if you watch that video, Zach, and you might accidentally find yourself in that rabbit hole too. Just be careful. Be careful with the recommended videos underneath it. But that's a lot of fun. And those type of shows where it's like, yeah, going back into harem, So harem, if you don't know, it's basically a tag in anime, which means multiple girls going for the protagonist, essentially. Or the other way around, a reverse harem, multiple boys going for the girl. If you're into that, those are fun to watch every now and then too. Depends on what your jam is.
Can't relate.
You can't until you watch one and you're like, oh, it's kind of different. It's kind of fun.
No, I'm saying I can't relate to my personal life.
Oh yeah. No, what, the multiple dudes person? Yeah, I got you. Yeah, the multiple dudes part. Yeah.
No, that's not what I meant.
I wish that was me. I wish multiple dudes were going after me, but.
No, I can't relate either way, actually. Now that I think about it.
But they're fun to watch because what happens is, and I don't follow this religiously because in anime Twitter, if they're broken, I'll explain it in a little bit. But basically, you get into teams and you just wage wars, and it's absolutely fucking stupid. But I'll get into that. But basically, in harem, you pick a girl, your favorite girl, and you root for her.
Fuck yeah!
It's so great. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. You just root for them and you're like, yeah, let's go. And then here's the fun part about watching harem anime. Or the fun part about watching harem anime is that they never end. Animes usually never finish the source material because it's just too much. unless their budget is fucking crazy, like Quintuplets, which I think they're going to do a movie. Quintuplets, by the way. Oh, I don't have anything with me. Quintessenal Quintuplets is the English title. And 5 Tobun no Hayo Nam. I'm sorry, I don't remember. Or Gotobun, I guess technically, because 5. It's basically quintuplets, 5 girls, and they're stupid, literally, like they're bad at school, like they're bad, and they get a tutor who's one of their classmates or one of their schoolmates.
I think I've seen this somewhere.
You probably have, because it's very popular. And it's a great show. Incredible manga. The manga is legendary. But that is an example of just like you pick a girl and you root for her. You're like, I'm riding this train. Even Onegaru is one. You pick a girl. I don't have them with. They're right here. I dropped one. It's okay. Anyways, you pick a girl, and you ride the train, and you fight for it. And even though, like, you can tell, like, midway or whatever, you just know which girl is gonna win, because this is usually it's like the main girl. Sometimes it's not the main girl. Or whatever, or like the first girl that he meets. Sometimes it's not the same girl sometimes it's not the first girl he meets. So that's why it's a lot of fun. And you're just like. And even if your girl doesn't win, you're just like, you know, I still like this girl. It's all good. This is my girl. This is my favorite girl. And I have a figure over there of one of my an example of my favorite girl in a harem anime, Nisekoi. Y'all know Nisekoi. Oh, I mean, if you're cultured, you know Nisekoi. It's not that cultured, but it's probably my favorite romance series that I have not finished. Why haven't I finished it? The manga, that is, because I know where it's going and I don't like it. And I don't want it to end. I don't want to conclude it because I love it so much. So I stopped reading it.
You're like, I just want to hold on to just this moment of purity and just ride it for as long as humanly possible. And I completely understand why you would do that too. And I do that sometimes with some shows where it's just like, I don't want to see how this ends because I feel like it's not going to be nearly as good as I would want it to be. Mm-hmm. And so you're just kind of stuck in that situation where you're like, I love this show, but I can't finish it because I don't want to, because I don't want it to end.
Yes. And it's a thing.
It's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing. And yeah, that I completely understand that 110% because it's just like, is it worth it? No. All right, cool.
No. I know where it's going. I know where it's heading. I just want to love my waifu. That's it. I don't want to see them sad, Zach. I don't want to see them sad. Even though everybody keeps saying, finish the manga, it's so good. I know it's good. It's my favorite romance. It's my favorite romance series right now. And I have not read it since like 2018 is when I dropped it. Or maybe even 19. So like 2 years. Bless you.
Excuse me.
And I'm like, nope, not finishing it. I will, but if I do, I'm rereading it because it's been too long. And I'm totally down because I love the series. But, oh man.
How did we get here?
How did we get here? Anime figures.
That that was literally it.
And I bought an anime figure of the girl that I liked in the harem to remember the show of this manga series that is my favorite.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and to kind of take it full circle, that's the reason why people buy merchandise for anything. It's because they enjoyed the characters, they enjoyed the story, they enjoyed the way that the characters were portrayed, you know, whatever it may be. They might have been really cute, and I mean, you do you, boo-boo, but you know, there's no matter what the reason is, it all just kind of boils down to you want to kind of have a reminder of not only just the show itself, but also like the emotional roller coaster that this show put you through, you know.
Or this show.
You know, it's like I think that is one of the coolest things about just looking at them. Oh God, it feels like her head's gonna come off.
Yeah, it's just broken. That figure, unfortunately.
Yeah. Poor my son. But yeah, it's like, you know, when we first started the podcast, I didn't know who either of these girls were. And I'm like, they've been here the whole time?
That's what I'm saying.
Sick.
Remember when we were when you were shooting my video of like the PC?
Yeah.
And you're like, look at these dolls.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you called them dolls. I'm like, man, no, these are characters and I love them. You're like, yeah, whatever, dude. And now you understand.
Now I understand.
Now you get it. Now you get it.
Yeah.
They mean a lot.
Right.
And that sounds so stupid, but they do mean a lot, you know?
Yeah.
It reminds me of what I went through and the characters that I enjoyed and just the show. Because, I mean, if I just watch a show, there are a lot of shows that I've watched and honestly, I forget that I watched them until someone brings them up. Even though I love the show.
Right.
And I'm not going to buy a figure for every single show I watch because, frankly, one, I don't have the money or disposable income. Two, I'm not that much of a weeb. And three, I don't have the space for it anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, but those specific instances of shows where they made you feel a special kind of way, whether it was a sad kind of way or a happy kind of way, you know, whatever it may be. It's just really fascinating to be able to have like a physical representation of like, yes, I remember how much pain and suffering was in the movie, or the pain and the suffering that was in the movie.
Yeah. A lot of pain and suffering in the animes I've made you watch, I realize.
I mean, you know, it adds drama. It makes it interesting.
Which is why we will watch a harem, because fuck it, at some point. So yeah, we'll do that. So that way it's not just pain and suffering that you're watching. Because then that would be like, okay, Arthur, what are you doing here? What are you making Zach watch?
What are you subjecting me to?
But yeah, I maybe this was just an episode to defend me buying figures. I don't know.
Well, I mean, also it's cool when we're able to talk about different aspects of watching anime and all of those different types of things as well.
Yeah. I mean, I just recently bought a shirt from a VTuber that I watched because she hit 1 mil and she made the stream, which I was there for, of just her. She wanted to make like a lame T-shirt, like just go on, like Paint Tool outside or Clip Studio, which are drawing softwares. Just draw a lame design and then sell it for fun.
Right.
And I bought one, of course, and I've also bought a plush. So hopefully that revives at some point. It will probably take a while though. Yes, as one does. You buy the merch for a VTuber that I love, my favorite VTuber actually, you know, and that'll be with me because oh man, I've always wanted to cop VTuber merch. One of these days, Zach, I'm gonna get you to watch VTubers. One of these days, and you don't have to simp over them like me. Just like I said, you don't have to be a weeb like me and do all this type of shit.
Right.
But I want to do it. I want you to watch a couple just so we can talk about it because I have a lot I want to talk about VTubers, which I can still do. And we have, just briefly. But I think I would want to just, one, because it'd be funny, and it'd be a fun episode. And two, so you get context, you get some context of what I'm talking about, and then we can talk more about it. And nowadays, not all the VTubers are Japanese. There's English VTubers, and even like the VTubers that I watch, which are in the Hololive, which is the agency that of VTubers that I watch. And the other ones because you like Niji Sanji and all that type of stuff. Names you don't know, of course, but they're just basically agencies that a certain VTubers are under, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Because at this, they're just idols too. They're also idols, you know. Although Hololive is more so idols, and they are literally idol. Like the point of them is to be idols. Like Hololive Idol Project is what I think the full thing is. Not really idols, but you know, they're fun and they band and stuff, and it's fun. And I just, I don't know. It's very interesting because it's new-ish. It's something that's always happened. It's been a thing, especially in Japan. But recently, in 2020 especially, during like the height of COVID and stuff, people wanted things to do, people wanted things to watch, and then they found this. And I consider it the closest we will ever get to anime.
Yeah.
And let me explain that, even though I said I wanted you to watch VTubers before we talked into this. But first, let me say there are English ones now, and the English ones now under Hololive, EN. You guys know them very well because they are very popular, and you will probably fucking love them. The reason why I say it now, again, I'm gonna break some souls and break some hearts. So if you don't know the truth already, you should probably, not listen. But it's a thing where. Okay, I'm reiterating, but in case you didn't watch the episode or you forgot. Most of us know the truth. Of course we do, but we just don't talk about it. So I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break a couple hearts, a couple souls now. VTubers aren't, believe it or not, actual anime girls. I don't know. I don't know if I I don't know if someone needed to hear that. I think someone out there needed to hear that. But they're not real.
I'm sorry for your loss.
I'm sorry. They're not real anime girls. They're real people with face rigging. Well, maybe not exactly face rigging. Maybe they have their own proprietary software, but of grabbing your model, your face, applying it to a model, and using that avatar. That is what VTubers are. Well, at least on the surface. The reason why they're excelling though, and the reason why I say it's the closest we'll ever get to anime is because they're not just people using an avatar. They're also acting as the avatar. They're also donning the name, the background, the lore, if you will, the voice, and the voice acting literally of that character. And they're owning it. And they're being that character for hours on end.
Which I am so impressed with.
Staying in character, not breaking. I mean, if they might break character every now and then, it's kind of funny, haha. But they stay mainly in character for hours on end, almost every day, weekly at least, monthly sometimes depending on the VTuber. Same character, and keeping up with it live, with thousands of people watching every time. You know?
Right.
As someone who live stream, we can understand that's a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
you know?
And especially when you're trying to put on a character or trying to act for that long. Mm-hmm. And I've done some acting stuff, like some live performance acting stuff. That's hard. Like, and most of the characters that I've played have been like modified versions of myself. Mm-hmm. Like the last musical that I did, I was basically just a more anxious version of myself. And even that was hard.
Yeah. You have to stay in character, in role, with the same voicing, because obviously it's not your voice. It's a more accentuated voice.
Right.
Accentuated? Accentuated.
Yeah.
I think I was right the first time. I don't know. Fuck. No. That's why I think, because I know that though, is why I enjoy them, because I find it impressive as a content creator.
Right.
And so that's why I've watched them a lot, because I just find it, I give them a lot of props, a lot of respect as a content creator, because that's a lot of work.
Right.
And they're doing a great job, and they're very popular, and they're probably racking in that dough. Good for them too, you know?
Hell yeah.
But the reason why I bring this up, and the reason why I say, they are the closest to anime we will ever get, ever. Maybe if they could do a VR, they have done VR stuff, by the way. Like they've done like VR stuff, and they've been like, you can like see them in you got your headset or whatever, and they're there. Hey, look at hi, that type of stuff.
Yeah,
they have done that recently. But for this example, I'll say the streams that they do with their live 2D models. Live 2D is what they call it, because it's not really 3D, because it's a picture, and you rig a character onto it and you're making the picture move. Yeah. So we call it live 2D because it's not quite 3D. The reason why I say it's the closest to anime we'll ever get is because it's live, it's a performance, and it's voice acting. It's the character, the drawings, it's the writing, and the lore, and what does that sound like, Zach? That sounds like an anime character.
That's weird.
That's weird. I thought anime girls were real. No, Zach, they're Seiyu that I just mentioned. They're voice actors.
Right.
They're writing. They're drawings. But they feel so real because they're done so well that you can sympathize, like I mentioned before. You can really feel like this type of character could actually be right here because that's how well done they are. Same thing with VTubers. They feel like a real person. They are a real, yes, but they feel like a real anime person. But because they don't exist really in our plane, if that does that make sense? In our like plane of existence, they don't exist. But in this virtual digital world, we're able to see them and interact with them,
right?
Because they're live streaming. That is the closest we'll ever get. Any closer, and I think it becomes cringe. Because you remember the Elon Musk memes of like, yeah, you know, I'm not sure if you know because you were not on Twitter. He was memeing like he liked the anime and he's gonna make cat girls real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did see that actually. Yeah.
And then we're memeing like, let's go, Elon, make the cat girls real, and we're joking. That can't be real. We can't have how would that even work? An anime cat. How that physically cannot work. You know, it would have to be a real person. Robot. What is it gonna look like a robot? How is it gonna look like an anime character?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. And if it just dons like this anime character's shell, that'll be cringe. That'll be weird. I think
that would be nightmare fuel.
That would be nightmare fuel. You know, it cannot be like the drawings and the animations and the manga that we see. It can never be that.
Right.
That needs to stay there and needs to forever be there. It cannot escape that. But the thing is, it has escaped that, and it's escaped so close to us that it can no longer go any farther, and that is VTubing, Japanese VTubers. And that's why I say that. Why does that pertain to anything I have to say? No, not really. But are there like what we were talking about before with like figures and stuff? Probably not. I don't know. But I just wanted to say that. I don't know. It's something I needed to get out of my chest.
I feel that. Yeah.
I just needed to say. I needed to tell the people that I'm a weeb and I love anime and I love manga and I love everything anime. Come on. These are VTubers right here. You know?
Yeah.
I would love. If I don't know how it could happen, but if anime can be real in real life, that would be awesome. But that's just not how that works. It just can't.
Right.
I like. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I totally
get what you're
like there
saying,
cannot just be an anime like right here. There cannot. It just can't. That's just not that. That's just not how that works.
Right.
You know. The only way it can go even farther is when at some point we're in the future of AR glasses and we wear AR glasses and then we can see anime characters in AR, in augmented reality.
Bro, do you want to know something kind of wild?
What is it?
I think I saw somewhere, I don't know if it was real or not, but I think Apple was talking about doing AR glasses.
Yeah, they are.
Which is fucking insane.
I know Google is the Google glasses, you know. AR is not... Yeah. That didn't really pop off.
Yeah, it didn't really pop off. But I mean, the world was not ready.
Yeah, the world's not. VR didn't really pop off yet. When VR came, it was not even popular really. Like when PlayStation, I think, did, and then Oculus, I think, did or whatever. Not many people did it yet. Not people were like to invest like, it's cool, but also it was expensive. You know?
Right.
So it was like, I don't know. You know, and like I have to buy a really expensive gaming rig anyways, and then buy a really expensive headset and motion things, and I have to hang shit to, you know, some of them don't, but the earlier ones, you know, hang things to get a, you know, picture of the room and stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of you know, so it wasn't very popular. Nowadays, since it's more, we're moving into that type of future more, now it's really cool, and now it's working, now it's more mainstream to have VR, and now stuff like the Oculus Rift 2 is only $299.
Right.
Which is still expensive, $300, but for our VR headset, that is, I think, its own thing. I don't think you need to... I could be wrong, I'm sorry. It's been a really long time and I'm not in the VR space, but I think you don't need you don't need a PC or anything. It's just its own thing. I think
that there's something like that
or
out
there's
there,
something
but
like that.
I don't think that was Oculus.
Yeah,
but
that might not be the Rift 2, but the Rift 2 is the one that Facebook is like, you have to have a Facebook account to log in and shit. And we're like, kind of iffy. But I think at this point, but at the time when they said it was kind of iffy, but nowadays I think it's like, okay, yeah, it's fine. It's just got to be what it's got to be. It's whatever. We log into our Google for everything anyways, and Google knows what I'm doing right now. So
freaking Mark Zoidberg.
It's whatever. I think it's just a known fact that this is going to be how life is. You just got to sign your soul to a bunch of people. But now that that's cool, I think AR is getting into the picture now. And now that Apple is working on it, like we've said before, Apple is a type of company where if they try something, that will shift the market.
Right.
People will start trying things. People want to be Apple.
Stephen Bills.
Mark Wahlberg.
What? Are you?
Oh, sorry. I'm playing. Are you hearing it in the mic? Oh, you kind of can. My bad. I was playing with a little dinger boy on the mic stand.
I'm not gonna lie. I totally thought it was my lens.
The autofocusing.
Yeah,
that's very loud.
Because we totally did not do a manual focus, buddy.
Oh, we didn't?
No.
Oh.
I don't think so. Wait, shit.
Oh my god, we didn't. That's okay. It's all good. I trust in the system. Hopefully, I'm not murdered out and just grab the. I think I might be manual focus though.
Yeah, I think you might.
Oh, I think I manual focused my chair, so I'm close. Whatever, close enough. Anyways, audio listeners don't care. So.
I mean, it's not like we've been recording for like an hour and a half or anything.
We'll just redo it. It's all scripted anyways.
Yeah, it's all scripted. Anyways.
What page are we on?
118.
118. 180 pages. That's a lot of pages.
Well, I mean, think about how much we've been talking for the last hour and a half.
True.
But yeah, it's definitely really fascinating when you talk about how technology can really start to shape the way that narratives can be told and the way that stories can be told.
Oh my gosh. I cannot wait until you watch. I'm going to make you watch Sword Art Online, which is
fine.
I mean it. I'm going to make you the most for no reason at all, the most controversial anime. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it the best anime ever? Is it the worst anime ever? Is it trash? A spoiler alert, I'll just break it down, summarize it. It's a good anime. It's not the best anime. It's not a bad anime. It's an okay to good anime. And I enjoyed watching it. And Sword Art Online, do you know what that is? Okay, I mentioned it before though. It's the anime with the VR and the VR into this world.
Oh, yes.
And what happened is a different type of VR. It's a VR, deep dive VR, I think is what it's been so long. Is what they called it, deep dive. And they can instead of just being in, they sit in their bed and they just lay down, put it on and just move their consciousness into the game.
That's sick.
And the twist is that in Sword Art Online, so Sword Art Online is the game they're playing. And it's this cool RPG type thing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and it's very cool. And then suddenly something happens. And they're all in the little town square area. And a little ominous buddy comes up, some sort of final boss type guy. He was like, "Hello, nerds." Not like that, paraphrasing. You are trapped here. Get fucked. Paraphrasing still. And and
okay, well, I mean, it is an RPG, so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, "You're stuck here, bitch. Get fucked."
and if you die in the game, you die in real life.
Oh,
there you go. Now the turns have tabled. So it's very, very interesting to watch because it is one of the shows that's probably, if I had to say, one of the most popular shows.
I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt, but I just looked at myself in the face that I just made, and I just cracked myself.
All right, let me remind me of that when I get the thumbnail for this episode. All right, cool.
Okay,
so it's probably one of the most popular animes just ever in the same realm of Attack on Titan.
Right.
It's those type of shows, and I loved it, but it's very controversial here in the West.
Right.
As it is, because Westerners just like hating things.
As they might.
As they do.
As they do.
So, yeah, but I enjoyed it. And, oh, man. It's very, not long in the sense like Naruto and One Piece are longer, of course, but longer than the shows that we've been watching. They're 12, 20, or 20 episodes or so, but more seasons. So it'll be a much longer investment. But I enjoyed it, and I want you to watch it because I feel like it's very interesting to see how a show like that, which used to be a light novel, or it was originally a light novel, how their interpretation of what VR could be. Because hold on, let me do a check. Sword Art Online. Volume 1 release date. Even Volume 1. Let's see Volume 1 release. September 27th, 2012.
Oh, wow.
So what was that, the idea of virtual reality to someone like that? Basically.
The craziest thing is that this was basically like when Oculus came out with like the first VR headset, I think. I mean, I could look it up.
Mm-hmm. You can.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. It's not exactly an explore and deep dive because you don't, or VR, because that's not the point. The point of it is the in-game actual experience. But I just find that idea interesting. You know, somewhat what VR, the idea of what that could have been back then. Because, you know, remember like seeing stuff like, oh my God, what the fuck? What is that? Dark theme is now available. Turn it on for us, Zach. Let's go. Is it the third picture? I don't even know what the fuck these are. I mean, I think the first left and right one, left ones are kind of.
Yeah. Let's see. Beginning in the 2010s, the next commercial threaded headsets were released.
So 2010s, 2010s. Okay. But a reason why I bring Sword Art Online is because of that idea of VR and deep dive VR. And it, for the movie is what I wanted to, I've been trying my best to transition to it, but I couldn't. So I'm just gonna go into it. So the movie, Cardinal Scale or Ordinal Scale. Sorry, I think Cardinal is a character in the show. Ordinal Scale. Great movie, by the way. Oh my goodness. And Sword Art Online, by the way, is one of those shows that just has like fucking fantastic. It just has there's a crazy budget. So it's just off the chain wax, just crazy shit like Demon Slayer.
Fuck yeah.
So that's fun. Although a little bit more fillery, if I had to say, than Demon Slayer sometimes, but that's okay. And so in Ordinal Scale, the idea is that it's no longer just VR headsets going into the thing and like deep diving into it. Now you're using AR goggles or AR glasses. I think it's glasses. It's kind of, I can't remember. It's been so long. I don't know if it's a glasses or like this kind of not monocle. I don't know, some type of thing. And you can just walk around the city and just see shit and interface like this, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's that kind of future. And then if you want to play a game, you just turn the game on and then shit happens and things move and then you can just do shit. And then like, let's say you're walking, like imagine like Pokemon Go, except you just boop. That type of thing.
And it wasn't as cringe.
And it wasn't as cringe. And you know, you could fight things and like monsters and stuff and do raids with other people that are around you.
Right.
So it's really cool. That idea is really cool. And I feel like that idea, we're getting closer to that. Oh man, I was not really talking. I was just like kind of replying like with another friend of like, man, SAO, we laugh about it, but SAO is going to be like a real thing, or SAO being Sword Art Online is what we, Sword Art Online, SAO. SAO is going to be a real thing in like 2 years. And then we joke about that, but honestly, it's getting close. That same idea.
Right.
We're so close.
And as technology evolves, you really start to see shit straight from sci-fi just kind of happening and just becoming available, and you're just like, what the hell is going on? Mm-hmm. And I think that was definitely, once we had smartphones in our pockets, I think that was kind of the moment when we really started to realize like, wow, we can really do like whatever we want with tech. And, you know, we have smart watches, we have smart fucking refrigerators and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, we have VR, AR, just like a whole bunch of different stuff. And so it's not out of the realm of possibility that something like that could happen. Which is wild. Because
it is wild.
When you explain it, it sounds like some crazy sci-fi shit.
But we're so close.
But we are so close. That's the craziest part, is that it's not really sounding as much like sci-fi anymore. It's just like, okay, when are we actually going to do this?
Yeah,
this
what company is
What
company is just going to just say, fuck it, let's go for it?
Elon Musk.
You know the meme of like what was it, like 1990s? Oh man, in 2020 we're going to have flying cars, and then 2020 is just some dumb shit. But we can't have flying cars without electric cars. we're in the electric car phase.
Right.
We're a phase closer to the flying cars that we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
You know, we're getting closer to this kind of like I said, this kind of sci-fi world. We're almost there. So I don't know. I just thinking about that now. I really want to rewatch Sword Art Online. I don't know. Although it's not really, the focus is not the VR aspect. Like I said, it's more the game aspect.
Right.
But just that idea of just like, wow. You remember like seeing, or do you know like seeing pictures of like how the 1990s or 80s, like how they're steampunk?
Yeah.
Like is that the right word? Like they're kind of futuristic sci-fi.
Like cyberpunk?
Yeah, that type of thing. Like their idea of it, and seeing like art, like artists like do painting of those type of things.
Yeah.
What they thought in like the 90s or the 80s or even the 70s for that matter. It's so cool to see how they thought. Mm-hmm. You know, what they think was going to happen. Before smartphones, what did they think smartphones were going to be?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and I mean, you look at like the 1950s and them talking about like, oh, what's the world going to be like in the year 2000?
Yeah.
And that's super fascinating because, I mean, spoiler alert, we're not even fucking close to where they thought we were going to be.
No.
But at the same time, a lot of the things that we've done in the last, like 70 years almost is things that I don't even think people would have thought we would have been able to do. Like we have cars that can basically almost drive themselves. We have computers in our pockets that are more powerful than the fucking computers that sent the first spaceship to the moon.
Sent the first moon to the spaceship?
Yes. Excuse me. That was disgusting. I apologize, audio listeners. That was completely off guard. There's just a whole bunch of crazy things that we've done. And I think my favorite thing is thinking about what the future is going to look like. And over the course of our lifetime, shit's going to pop off, bro.
It is going to pop up. It's going to be so crazy. I'm just so excited. I'm not going to be like, I will still boomer talk, but I'm a boomer talk in the sense that I'm not going to say, oh, kids used to have it, or we used to have it harder. I'm not going to that boomer talk. I think we've already talked about it before, but I think technologies and stuff and things being easier in life is good, So,
right.
In a way, of course, to an extent, I feel like things should still not be handouts.
Yeah.
But, as we said in the beginning of the podcast, these kids with iPads and smartphones when they're in like third grade or whatever, when we were in third grade, that would never happen. Nowadays, it needs to happen. They need to be introduced in technology.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to fall behind,
Right. And if you really sit down and think about it, these are going to be the people who are going to be innovating the future of technology.
Yeah, we're not. These old people, old people are like, oh, dude, back in my day, we didn't have smartphones. We didn't have Game Boys and DS's and Xbox 360. Yeah, shut up, bitch. Shut up, old dude. You're not going to be, sorry, morbid. You're not going to be alive when, these new kids are shaping the world and they need this technology to do so.
Right.
So they need to be introduced to it.
Right.
As early as possible.
Yeah. And it's just like, shut up, grandpa. Go back to the retirement home. We're going to try to change the face of the world.
Yeah.
Because dude, it's so fascinating because technology has really innovated every single part of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
The way that we shop for things. The way...
Oh my gosh. Oh man,
that's an entire different conversation.
That is an entire
for another day. But the way that we shop for things, the way that we are able to interact with each other, the way
I'm putting that in the doc. Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, the way that medicine has changed as a direct result of tech.
Dude, the COVID medicine, the vaccine. We already talked about this.
Yeah. In
the past, other plagues and shit. Like we read in the history books that these things like take years. Decades,
sometimes even centuries.
Even centuries. Even like the swine flu took a while,
Right.
COVID, we got a vaccine in like a year. That's really good. You know?
Yeah.
And it's still kind of like it's kind of like we still have to go back and we're gonna have to get more vaccines and stuff because we got 2 shots and they're saying like at the time of recording, of course, they're saying like the effects or the protectiveness is kind of going down. Or the effectiveness, that's the word I'm going for, from the first and even the second shot is dropped to like 70% or so. So we're going to need the booster shot or whatever they called it.
I thought the booster was the second shot.
Was it? No, I think the booster is the third shot. I don't know. Anyways, I think I said, or I heard that if COVID's going to be a thing forever almost, so it's going to be like the thing where we go for regular shots for it, like the flu. It's going to be that type of idea.
Yeah.
So, but we got it in like a year.
Which is wild, yeah.
The flu's been around for a while. When did they get a vaccine? I don't know. Probably longer than a year. You know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and that definitely has
technology.
Technology, yeah. That has a lot to do with that. And I think that it's only going to get crazier and crazier as time goes on because we are innovating so many different new types of technology, and we are kind of in the infancy of the true potential of certain technologies and those types of things, you know? So I'm excited, dude. I'm excited to see what virtual and augmented reality looks like. I'm excited to see.
I'm just thinking, like, imagine just me living alone, and then I put on my AR goggles, and then an anime girl pops up and interacts with me, and then she's just who lives with me. That sounds so bad, but that would be so fun.
Why would I not be surprised if that actually happened?
Okay, unironically though, why does that not sound like it'd be fun? It'd be super, like in real life that sounds super sad. Like in person, like me saying that sounds like, dude, you're so far off. But how fun would that be? Just to like live with this. I mean, keep your expectations realistic. You know, you're not gonna like fuck this. Sorry, you stick your hand out, she's not there. Sorry, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not. You know what I mean? That's not happening. But imagine just like waking up and just having a roommate that's just an anime character, like an anime girl or something, and you can talk with them and stuff.
That'd be gnarly.
That would be so. Wouldn't that be just fun?
Yeah.
And then even if you haven't strayed down the path of degeneracy, maybe like you just don't do it every day. Maybe you do it every now and then, because some people, they do live alone, you know,
right?
And they have to do things like have pets and stuff to have company. Some people, they move far out because for job or for jobs and stuff, right?
Yeah.
They're no longer with their family. They may you know, they don't have a roommate, or they don't. I mean, they have friends, but obviously you don't have friends over every day. So you know, sometimes you get lonely, you know.
Right.
And that's why people get pets and stuff, or invite friends. Pets, that could just be another version of a pet, you know?
Yeah.
Just have an anime character.
I mean, dude, you could literally have Nintendo. You could have Nintendogs in real life, Arthur.
Yeah, you could have virtual dogs, and you don't have to pay money.
And you don't have to feed them. So that
you feed them virtually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That could be that. I mean, obviously it will never replace a real dog. An anime girl will never replace a real girl. Sorry to break some souls. Sorry to crush some souls, but they're not going to. But
right.
Wouldn't that just be fun?
Just kind of for shits and giggles.
Just for shits. Yeah. Like wake up in the morning and, you know, all right, put on the goggles. Hey, how you doing? Like, oh, Ohio, you know. Wouldn't that be cute? That just sounds. And now we're reverting from degenerate. That now just sounds wholesome. It just sounds really. That for some reason in my head that sounds super cute. Just someone who just like has like. Just a virtual friend, someone who, you know, like I said, like that sounds sad, but you know, it's a thing. People live alone and they get, you know, they might not have a significant other. Is that the right word?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry. Why does that sound weird for some reason? Significant other.
I think it's the way that you're saying it.
Maybe. I don't know. You know, they're not in a relationship, you know?
Yeah.
Or they don't have any friends nearby.
Right.
Why not? Have a friend. Make it an anime girl. Why not?
Right.
You know? Yeah. And even maybe not just like we said, dogs, cats, animals. A Disney character. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Technology is getting to that point.
The world is your oyster.
When we have AR goggles that can just integrate into your glasses, why not? I think considering technology is getting freaking crazy and we're still humans and we have eyeballs that go bad, we're all just going to there's going to be a future where everybody just has glasses because their eyes suck.
Especially because we look at screens all the fucking time.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The farther we get into the future, the more screens we're going to look at, the more blue light enters our retinas. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe we natural selection adapt our way into just having God eyes and we just reject blue light. But like, that's such love that
nope,
shit.
That's gonna be in the thumbnail.
That's a thumbnail now. I don't know. Part of me, obviously, that's cringe and degenerate, but another part of me thinks it's wholesome, and another part of me just finds it that even though it is degenerate, like, bro, you fucking loser type shit, that would just be cool to be a thing anyways, in general.
Right, and that just kind of piques my curiosity and fascination towards the potential of it actually becoming a reality, because the more that we evolve technology, the more that we start to integrate it into our day-to-day lives more and more, the more that you start to realize that that could potentially be helpful in many other ways other than for people who live by themselves and they just need companions or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, that could have so many different implications. I can't talk anymore. But it's just, just the idea of it is very fascinating.
I'm excited for the future. I hope it happens in my lifetime. I really do. I hope I can, even if I'm old. I don't know.
Arthur?
Yeah.
We got at least like 50 years, 60-ish.
Yeah, we are moving in like an exponential curve, if you will. So,
yeah, it kind of went like,
and it just it's to the moon.
Yeah,
Dogecoin.
I don't know if that even
Bitcoin.
I don't even know how much of that was even in frame, but it's fine. Everything's fine.
It's okay.
Anyways, this conversation has just absolutely devolved from what it started as.
Not really. We're talking about having anime figures because it reminds us of the show and the how we felt. And now we're talking about having them in real life, which is the same idea. It came full circle, actually. You thought it derailed, but it didn't.
You confuse me, but also intrigue me at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I told you, I took honors English too. I'm really good at writing papers. I'm good at structuring. Did I mention I took honors English too?
No, you didn't actually.
What about calculus?
Did I tell you that I took AP Music Theory?
Did you tell the people that you took AP Finance?
No, because I didn't.
You took AP Finance.
No, I didn't.
You actually graduated. 10 years.
Arthur, I'm only 21. I started
working
college
in the field since you were a child.
Yes, I've been going to college since I was 11 years old. Yes.
Yes. All right.
Okay, I don't
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you. You want? I think I did that outro. You got it, Zach. Yeah, hit it.
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. If you guys enjoyed it, go ahead and leave a like. We have links to Spotify, Patreon, Coffee.
Hopefully Patreon is ready, because in the episodes that are airing now, I say, yeah, I have the Patreon ready, but this is not ready. So hopefully by now it's ready. But I'm going to say it here, since I haven't said it yet, I'm going to keep saying check the Patreon, because when the Patreon is ready, I'll link it in the other episodes.
You smart.
Anyways. So yeah, if it's there, check it out. If it's not there, check again. It'll be there soon. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So we got Patreon, maybe. We got Spotify.
We have
Coffee.
OnlyFans.
No. We got links to our socials down in the description down below. And yeah, we got a couple different Discord servers that.
Oh, you want to shout the Discord servers out? Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. Shouts out to the Uwu chat.
Yeah, my Discord server. Shout out to the Goon Squad.
Yeah, my Discord server. So, also, we're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on a whole bunch of other stuff. Yes. So go check us out. I love your face. Arthur, do you have anything to say?
I do have something to say. All right, how much more time we got? All right, cool. So for the next 15 minutes, I'm just kidding. Enjoy watching anime, enjoy reading manga. Don't let people tell you that you should not do that, because you should do what you want to do. If you want to buy the most expensive figures, this not being one of them, and put them in a jar.
No.
And you know, and do what you need to do. Then you do that. You go ahead and do that. But for me, you know, I may not, but I'm just gonna. You just do what you want to do. Don't let your dreams be memes. If you want to buy figures and have a time, then you should have a time. You know, you should just do as you need to. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I hope you guys continue being you. Be yourself. Goodbye. Fade to black. Fade to black. Yes.